I have some confessions. Surprise! That's the theme. I do have some confessions, but before I do that, I just want to say actually that at the moment I'm really happy. So good night. No, I am really happy because I am in a new relationship with, are you ready? A firefighter. High five. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so the job that he does is a firefighter. I can't stress that enough. Like that's what he does for a job. Like for example, like what do you do? I don't care. My boyfriend's a firefighter. So, with that in mind, here's the confession bit. It's not all good to be in a relationship with a firefighter, but not in the way that you might expect. My little selfish reason is that he is friends with an ex-girlfriend. So, damn him. No, he is friends with an ex, and it's okay. I do like to think of myself as a feminist. Who else here? Yeah. Good test. I just feel like where does feminism go when your partner is friends with an ex? Out the window, I think. All women are whores. No, they're not. I don't think that. No, I'm trying to be mature about it, right? Obviously. And I've been like reading like a lot of psychology stuff, and by psychology I mean articles, and by articles I mean Mamma Mia, and it's fine. And I read this article, right, that said, you know, sometimes when you're having an argument with a partner, like you don't have to be all serious about it, like you can just be playful. That was the advice. Like, just go in and just be playful. Like, you can be a bit silly. You don't have to be serious. Just be playful. And so I tried that, right? So I sat down with my boyfriend to talk about, you know, my feelings about you know, being friends with your ex-girlfriend. And I said, oh, sweetheart, just a little thing, like, playfully. Just one thing. I never want you to see her again. So that's how that went. So I have two main confessions. The first one is that this isn't a confession. I am a feminist, and I feel like I cheer on women, right? Like I really believe in extending our voices. You know, I run a group called Women Write Comedy. It's a writing group, and it's really important to me that we have more female voices in comedy, and in many avenues. But you know, and on Instagram, like I'm like hashtag girls, like you know, like I really support women. But socially, here we go. I subconsciously fear that they will take something from me. Anyone else? I'm not trying to isolate anyone here. I'm being really honest. So I have to think about like where did that come from, right? And where that came from me is again, surprise, my childhood. So my parents separated when I was 14, right? And I was about to say they had an affair. That would be quite weird if they had an affair with each other. They didn't. My dad had an affair with this woman who, her name was Katie. That's her real name. I should probably change it. But I'm not going to. Her last name, no.
What's her address?
She used to live in, no. So her name was Katie and she was 24, right? So in some ways, like, go dad. But like she was only like 9-10 years older than me, right? So it was a bit weird. And sorry, I've never told this before on stage, so I'm like, my family's not here. No, they'd be fine with it. So I came home and I was told that, you know, he had this affair with this woman who had, for me, kind of been a big sister role. And I saw how much my mum was just humiliated by that. And it wasn't the sex part, it was that people knew and she didn't know, and her friends had betrayed her and all this sort of stuff. And as a 14-year-old, like, I really took that on and just decided I will never do that to someone, and I became like really weird and judgmental if anyone even slightly was, you know, like going to betray someone. And yes, I'm going to go back to my notes because that's as light as I'm making it, it is actually quite real for me. So now I'm 30. Stop it, I don't look 30, thank you. And that's really nice of you. And it's not an excuse, like, I think that I can make for the rest of my life that, oh, this one bad thing happened to me and now I, you know, but it did make me hypervigilant, right? So maybe some of you right now are feeling sorry for my boyfriend. But I found that experience, it didn't make me crazy or, you know, basic or a prude. It's just, as I said, it made me hypervigilant. And I'm sure I'm not alone. Like, just a light-hearted question, just surveying the group. Who here has looked through their partner's phone?
Fuck yeah.
Let's have drinks after. So, anyone else? Can you feel everyone just go, I'm going to cause some fights this evening. No, but so I'm proud to say that I've never looked through my partner's phone, right? Thank you. Okay, I expected an applause, but that's fine. I've never looked through my partner's phone. It's a Samsung, I don't know how to use it, so it's a good deterrent for me. But that hypervigilance, like, if you've had any kind of cheating experience, it makes you want to do it, right? No? You just looked really like, no, you're crazy. No, it makes you want to. Like, I have to make myself not do it. Okay, judgmental on confessions night. No, I do. I have to make myself not do it. And I think that I heard this thing once, and again, I heard this thing once from my psychologist, and she said to me that often, like, when cheating happens, right, like, you, you aren't fearful that if, like, say it happens again, right, like, you probably know that you'd leave, right? So you just have to trust yourself that you would leave. But that doesn't bother me. It's all the bit before that that's like your brain going crazy of like, but I could know now, but I could know now, but I could know now. What if I look through the phone now? Which I don't. But it's all very there, and it's all becomes part of your psyche, I think. So sometimes my brain makes me think impending doom is on the horizon. So if I do befriend, you know, his friend, my partner's friend, who, you know, the ex. No, she's actually really nice. Damn her. It's a little trick. No, but the thought is like, oh, I'll be betrayed, right? And so socially, I have to try and manage that in my head while being like, and what do you do? I understand that's not very sexy and it's not very cool, but it does seem to be the basis for a lot of arguments and hurt that I've heard a lot about in different relationships that you hear about with friends. So what's going on with all of this? What's my point? Do bitches be cray? Feminism. No, I don't think so. I think our brains do these things to try and protect ourselves, right? And that brings me to my second confession, which is I'm a real nerd when it comes to my mental health and to therapy, and I think we all should be. I know some of you pulled funny faces before, you know, and mostly I'm telling jokes, but a lot of it is based in truth. And maybe some of you were genuinely thinking, oh my God, this bitch is crazy. But honestly, like, my partner and I, we've actually infrequently fought at all, but particularly about this sort of stuff. And that's because I've done a whole lot of work on my mental health, and I can say what my fear is, mostly, rather than acting on it. I'm not perfect at it. But because I have done work on myself, I now understand that it's a fear that somehow I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I will be hurt. So often I think in our, you know, Instagram society, you know, you're constantly drilled down your throat. It's constantly drilled down your throat to love yourself, love yourself.